Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you're keeping well. This is a video I wanted to make for a long time. Now that I've just put the camera on, I can hear something outside. Sounds a bit like a tractor. It's a car, I don't know why the engine's going up. Anyway, good timing, dude. Let's get on with the video. Now, just to give you a little bit of background, I only got asthma in my late 20s. I never had it before, but I always suffered from eczema, and I'm one of these eczema stroke asthma types. They do say they're related. Now I'm actually in my 50s now, so I've had it for quite a while, and when I went to my asthma check with the nurse a few years back, she said to me, take steroid inhaler. I was using the blue inhaler before, and I said, I don't want to go on steroid inhalers. I want to sort this out naturally. And she made me feel as though I was an ignorant woman who didn't know anything. But I was doing my own research at the time. But I'll tell you what she said, and I do want to put this out there, in case it's being said to other people. Now, I am so grateful for our National Health Service. I love our National Health Service, but the thing is, the way these people operate is they just want to say, where's the symptom, here's the drug. What's the symptom, here's the drug. So anyway, the nurse said to me, if you don't take the steroid inhaler, I am not going to prescribe the blue one for you. So she's kind of forcing me to take it, which is not very nice, and I left with major anxiety. The way I see it, if you've got some kind of symptom, it is just a symptom that something is not right in the body. And although the inhalers are okay for the short term, really you need to get to the bottom of it and find out what the root cause is. And that's the way I wanted to sort it out. So if you do have the same way of thinking as I do, then do watch this video, because this video is for you. Right, I'm not a doctor and I'm not a nutritionist, but I went away, I did extensive research on the internet and trialed and tested things, because I really wanted to sort this problem out. Where your breathing's concerned, you can't take any risks. I did not want it to get worse. So these are the things I discovered that helped me. Now, every case is individual, so it doesn't mean it's going to help everyone, but there may be some bits of this that you find are very helpful. And there may be some bits of it that you think, well, actually that doesn't affect me. But even if you know something doesn't affect you, that in itself is good to know. So the first things I would say you should do is give up dairy and possibly gluten. Now, for my son, it was just enough to give up dairy. He had just started getting a little bit, and he gave up dairy, and that was fine. I gave up dairy ages ago because I had eczema. I had it all my life. I had it really bad. I've had it all over my body. I've had my body bleeding, pussing. It has been really bad in the past, but as you can see, by the grace of God, it's all sort of cleared up now. So when I went dairy free in the 1980s, shops didn't stock soya milk. It was only Superdrug that stocked soya milk, so I used to get it in bulk. Nowhere else did. And later on, because I had eczema constantly on my face, I gave up wheat, and that helped with my face. And it also, I've noticed that these things, both dairy and gluten, are no good for my asthma. And when I went wheat free, actually they didn't have all these wheat free products. But what I will say is don't rush to get these wheat-free products, because sometimes the moment something's packaged, it's full of preservatives and goodness knows what else. And when you've got any kind of health condition, you're looking to try and get more whole foods with less preservatives. Now, what I'd say is, if you are researching on things which affect a certain health condition, I'd say keep an open mind, because often I was reading something and I was thinking, nah, that doesn't affect me, but until I actually tried it out, I didn't know. So the one of the big things which was affecting me was tap water. Now, I read about it and I thought, nah, but when I tried it, I realised that my asthma was getting significantly worse because I was drinking tap water. I was boiling it, thinking I was doing the right thing because it was clean, but I think it's probably the chlorine in the water which was affecting me. So when I had flu, I would become so bad, and looking back now, I don't think it was because I was asthmatic. I think it's because I was drinking more honey and lemon, and of course that water was coming from the tap. Now I am in a situation where I don't need my flu jab, because thankfully if I get a cold or if I get a flu, I'm okay. I don't need my flu jab anymore. Now, when I was trial testing things, this is quite interesting. What I normally found that if I gave something up to see if it affected my asthma, I had it in my head that I'll give it up for 3 days and see what happens. But if I gave it up like the night before, I would notice a difference as quickly as the next day, kind of in the afternoon stroke evening. That's how quickly I noticed a difference with most of these things. So what I was actually doing is I was substituting, instead of eating chocolate, I thought I'd be healthier if with my tea I had dried fruit. So I was eating sultanas, raisins. But interestingly enough, my asthma was getting worse with these things, for the simple reason that they have an additive to help preserve the colour, I don't know exactly what it does, called sulfites. Now, sulfites are in many of our foods. As far as I understand, it's not always on the ingredients, because if there's a very low amount of these sulfites and they come in different forms, I don't think they have to put it on the ingredients. But I noticed other things like some crisps, some brands of crisps, cakes, a lot of the gluten-free cakes that I had anyway, they were all affecting me. So when I actually had these raisins or this dried fruit, it was affecting me quite a lot actually. I probably reckon, and I haven't tried it, but I probably reckon sticking to organic dried fruit would be okay, but you never know until you've tried these things. So generally on this journey that I was going on to try and cure my asthma, it seemed that I needed to go back to eating healthy foods, eating foods which weren't processed, eating foods which weren't in a packet. But dried fruit was definitely one to look out for. Also nuts. Nuts were affecting me. Having said that, I haven't tried organic nuts, organic peanuts, organic walnuts. That might be different. I suspect it's not actually the nuts. It's probably some sort of preservative on them. But actually what's interesting is if you Google sulfites, when I Googled it anyway, the first thing that came up was sulfites cause asthma, which is interesting. So it's one to watch out for. Maybe it doesn't affect you, but it's definitely one to try. I must say that there were also some fruits which were affecting me. and I think it's for no other reason other than things which have been sprayed on them, or the way that they've been changed. So blueberries were affecting me quite badly, and strawberries as well. So strawberries, if I had them every day, they'd affect me. But other fruit was fine. All fruit is good. Now, I read a lot about plant-based diets. I tried it myself. I couldn't stay on it. I watched a lot of videos on people coming on saying, oh, I've been cured of this, I've been cured of my asthma because I've gone plant-based. Sticking to whole foods is good. It's good for anyone. Everyone, whether you suffer from asthma or not. I tried, and I found it very difficult to stay on the diet. I found it very difficult to find recipes. I like a bit of meat sometimes. But what I have done, I've gone more towards a diet which has a lot more vegetables in and less meat. And what I found is that when I have a meal which is packed full of vegetables, like a vegetable curry, it's a Thai vegetable curry that I make, or there's a vegetable hot pot I make. When I have a meal like that, or just steamed vegetables, if I eat steamed vegetables, I find that when I eat those, it's almost like they open up my airways. So, there must be things inside them. I know magnesium is very good for opening up the airways. I don't know whether it's the magnesium or other things as well, but definitely vegetables just felt amazing on my body. And so now my diet has very much changed. I'm not plant-based, but it's very much changed and geared towards eating a lot of vegetables. And it's not a change you can make overnight. I've got to stress that. When you're doing things this way, it's a journey. And you will learn on that journey. But the way I see it, it doesn't matter if it takes 6 weeks. It doesn't matter if it takes 6 months. It doesn't matter if it takes 1 year. If it's going to benefit your health in the long term, it's definitely worth it. Now, there was another big turning point in this journey, and that was when I had half an hour free telephone conversation with a nutritionist. It was all part of what she did. You could just have an initial consultation with her for half an hour. Her name was Julia. Thanks so much, Julia. You changed my life. So I spoke to her, and she said to me the reason why people get asthma and allergies and eczema and hay fever, apparently they're all related. A lot of the alternative therapists would say that asthma, eczema, hay fever are all related. It's because the gut is inflamed or the gut is broken and food leaks out. And first we need to get rid of the triggers, and then we need to work at repairing the gut. Now, this was such a relief to hear this, because never ever had anybody said to me, this is what causes asthma. If you go to the doctor, they'll tell you there's no cure for asthma, and we don't know what causes it. So this really made me look at it in another way, in a way of how can I heal my gut. And so that as well led me to thinking about a much more healthier diet, a diet where I'm eating more vegetables, I'm cutting out all these trigger foods, but substituting them with other stuff, and just generally eating a healthier diet. And I kept hearing about healthy fats, healthy fats, healthy fats. So I thought, what is this? I'll look into this. I'll try with the healthy fats. Generally, I don't think a lot of us are getting enough healthy fats. So look it up, guys. I don't want to give you information overload, but definitely healthy fats and lots of fruits and vegetables was something which I started to introduce into my diet. Now, the other thing that I try to do in order to promote gut healing and just my body to heal generally is I started fasting. Fasting has many benefits. In particular, fasting can help repair the body or spring clean the body. So I started doing 16-8. I did it initially to help repair my gut, repair my body. As far as I believe, if the body's getting the right things and the right nutrients, it will repair itself. You know, our bodies are very, very, very complex and very intelligent. They know what they're doing. And if you just think about it, even if you're a healthy person, if you just think about it, you're very specific about what you put into your car. You know, so why put junk into your body? I also cut down on sugars. So as far as drinks are concerned, I avoid all these juices. I avoid fizzy drinks. It's only when we have guests that I have fizzy drinks. I drink mineral water with a bit of lime in, a bit of lemon juice. I like to drink mine warm unless it's very hot. I also use mineral water in my cooking now. I guess you could also use filtered water if you have a filter that takes out the chlorine. And I have also cut down on sugar quite drastically. Sugar, processed refined sugar, is a weight gainer. I think it's a killer. I wouldn't have white sugar in the house. I have it in the house because my husband has it, but defo, as far as sugar's concerned, to me, it's a poison. Now, the other thing that I found is when I started to do 16-8, a lot of people will say, who suffer from asthma, that when they make these dietary changes, they do tend to lose weight. And what I noticed is that when I got down to a certain weight, I think I lost about 10 pounds. And I want to stress, I wasn't overweight. I was like sort of at the top of my weight range. I'm 5'2", so I'm not very tall, but I was at the top of my weight range. But I wasn't overweight and I wasn't obese. But just when I lost like 10 pounds, when I got to that mark, I also noticed a significant improvement in my asthma, which is interesting. Because as I said, I would have thought that maybe somebody who was overweight or obese, maybe it would affect somebody like that, but I didn't think it would affect me, but the difference did affect me. And so when I also used to watch all these videos on people who said that they cured their asthma, and they seemed to have done it very quickly, like within a matter of months. It was interesting that a lot of these people were really, really slim. So I have a theory that if I go back, along with all these, along with all these changes that I made, I had a theory that if I went back to the original weight I was when I developed asthma, which I'm guessing might have been about 8.5 stone, that it will go completely. So at the moment, that's where I am on my journey. I'm trying to lose an extra 10 pounds, which is quite hard to lose the last 10 pounds, especially with, excuse me, especially when you get to my age. But that's where I am at the moment with it. Now, one very straightforward thing that was affecting me was dust. So it was really helpful when I wore a dust mask when I did the cleaning. Dust, particularly in the bedroom. So I got anti-dust mite pillows. They really helped. I started giving my bedroom a thorough clean, you know, moving all the furniture, dusting everything, using a little bit of eucalyptus oil in my J-cloth, using a wet cloth to dust things so you don't spread the dust around, opening all the windows. That made a massive difference. And changing your bed regularly. Now, when I change my bed, I take the sheets off and I hoover the mattress. That makes a big difference. I haven't tried getting anti-dust mite quilt covers or mattress covers. That might help even more. Initially on this journey, I found that if I hadn't given my bedroom a thorough hoover, after about 10 days it would really affect me, but now I can go for a little bit longer without doing that thorough spring clean. But if you've got a pet, what I will say is don't let the pet go into your bedroom, because that might affect you. I do have a cat. As long as she's downstairs on the hard floor, it's okay. But what I do need to do sometimes is, because I like to wear my dressing gown at home, so I've got to wash that every week, because her hairs get all over it. Otherwise it starts affecting my asthma. I've always been one to exercise. I've been swimming for a long time. I like to do a bit of aerobics. What I'd say really helps is introducing some kind of aerobic exercise into your life daily if possible. And it doesn't mean that you have to join a gym or spend any money at all. Just get a good pair of trainers. Go for a brisk walk every morning. When I say brisk, try and walk fast. Wear some trainers to protect your feet, to protect your knees, but try and walk fast. Get those lungs working. If you do that every day, you will see a difference. And it's just generally it's good for you. If you can't get out, if it's too cold, obviously that's not going to be good for your asthma. You can get lots of aerobic sessions to dance along with on the internet, on YouTube. You could get a DVD, or if you prefer, you could go down to the gym. But exercise is another important part of helping your condition, helping our condition, helping the condition. I don't think there's anything left to say. All I've got to say is I don't have my flu jab anymore, and this winter was the first winter I actually could go out in the cold without having a scarf over my face, because before the cold would affect my lungs. I'm very hopeful that I will sort this problem out altogether, and by the grace of God, it's like being reborn. And I'll just say that if you do want to take this path, persist with it. Even when it starts improving, just keep your finger on it. Keep on it. Keep your finger on the pulse. I think that's the phrase. Keep your finger on the pulse and persist with it, and you will get there. And the knowledge that you acquire will be so beneficial, not just for this condition, but for your long-term health.